welcome to Mind Your Business, the channel where we are in at everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. Well, people, you've got Rasheeda and Amy, both of them caught in a lie, leaving expeditiously when caught in that lie. Let's talk about it, people. Well, gone as people, my Inquisitive crew, let's talk about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Now, this week made me laugh because, yeah, like I said, these two individuals, Rasheeda and Amy, were both caught in their lie. Firstly, you've got Rasheeda and Yandy. Now, Yandy, I don't understand. She's on this little warpath for Rasheeda. Both of them are throwing shade at each other in their confessionals. I'm like, this is very interesting. You lot's friendship is looking like it's about to mash up, and it's definitely heading that way. Because when Yandy pulled up to Spice, at her opening of her store in Atlanta, and Rasheeda was there, and she's like, when I was going with my friends, and apparently people sitting at a table talk about my husband, and I'm like, this energy is given, it's in the wrong direction. Shouldn't the question be to your husband, why is he going around telling people that his marriage to you is complicated? Why is it that you had to go and buy him a ring to make him put the ring on? But instead she's going after Rasheeda. And I'm like, okay, this is really interesting logic. Whilst I do see that Rasheeda definitely did mess up, because why are you lying? Because I feel like Rasheeda's happy to have another couple that's in the hot water and dealing with all the foolishness of potential side chicks. She went through her situation with Kirk, and now she's got Jasmine, who's, basically a part of the show now, and she's also freeing up all her friends. So she don't mind if Yandy has some issues. That's what it seems like to me. At the same time, I understand that Rasheeda has always been, for her and Kirk. That's the only thing that I see Rasheeda fight for, is her and her marriage. I don't really see her go to bat for any friends per se. So whereas Yandy will speak up on behalf of friends, I don't really see that from Rasheeda. But Yandy thought that Rasheeda might have been at this event. So obviously Rasheeda closed it up and was like, no, I wasn't there. And, when it comes to husbands and wives and stuff, I don't play. Then fast forward to later on when they're at Spice's content house launch that she done. So good on her. I like that she's got her little business popping up. She's doing her music. She's got her storefront. Now she's got her content house. I'm like, yes, good on you, Spice, on the business front. On the other side of Spice, the anger management, she's sorted that out. But we get there in a minute. But anyway, at the content house, when we see Yandy, and she's chatting to Erica Banks and to Amy, and it just comes up that, I think it was Amy who brings it up and says, oh, did Rasheeda reach out to you around the whole mix-up after the concert, what happened? And, Yandy's like, no, she didn't know. And Erica's like, no, she knew, because she mentioned it to me after when we met up. She mentioned it to me, and obviously they showed the flashback. I'm like, I remember thinking that. I'm thinking, hold on, you do seem a little bit too happy to hear this mix-up, but you haven't reached out to Yandy. So of course, Yandy's like, let me just bring her up and see what's going on here. Brings her up. And then we see, I like that Erica just, stood on her square and said what she had to say, and said, yeah, you did say it. Rasheeda's getting all defensive, chatting about, did I say it? And she's like, yes, you said it. And then, Erica's like, did you say it? Confirm. And then she's like, well, you're asking me if you said I said it, why are you asking me? I'm just like, oh, what kind of foolishness is this, Rasheeda? Why can't she just be honest and just say, you know what? Oh, yeah, I did say that. And Yandy, yeah, I kind of heard something with Kirk being on the phone, but I didn't want to get into the business. So, yeah, my bad. Instead, she got all defensive and she storms off. She ain't dealing with none of this shit. And then she just starts gaslighting Yandy. I was just like, what is going on here? She's definitely learnt from her husband. She basically said, it's got nothing to do with her and her husband, and it's not her business, essentially. And then she gets all defensive, like she's some tough girl. I'm like, what are you talking about? Where was this energy when you was upstairs with Erica? There wasn't this energy. And it just makes you laugh, because obviously Yandy is a bit pissed off with her now because she's looking at her sideways. But I'm like, the two of you are very similar. Both of you will go to bat for your man then. And this is what it's given. But Rasheeda is definitely someone who will just go and bat for her man, and she'll leave the friends in the dust. And we've seen her do that with other people on the show. Like, I still hate the way that she treated K Michelle when K Michelle spoke about her DV situation. So yeah, I always side Rasheeda for that. But in this predicament, I was not particularly surprised at her behaviour. So yeah, I was just like, Yandy didn't have that much to say. I thought Yandy would have more to say, because usually Yandy has a lot more mouth. So I was a bit like, But also, like I said at the start, she's got the energy for the wrong person, because really, you should be checking your husband and asking him why he was sitting there apparently chatting to this girl, and, you know, you faking weird stuff about DMs. Like, I'm just not buying it. All this, you were in the DMs. It's just, yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. And Yandy, to me, is just acting delusional also, because, like, why are you acting kind of surprised that anyone's talking about this whole situation? The girls came up to you and to Mendices to tell you about someone else talking to your husband, apparently, allegedly. So now, of course, you've got Jessica's niece talking about this whole situation and saying that, you know, he moved to her. It's going to be a topic of conversation, because there was originally something else that happened with him in the first place. So, like I said, speak to your husband. That's the person who you should be really getting mad at rather than everybody else. But like I said, also, Yandy and Rasheeda have a lot in common. Both of them are Delulu for their men. And they are going to ride until the wheels fall off, and they are not leaving their men. That's as simple as that. Now, we also saw Jessica. Jessica, we found out that, you know, her sister passed. So that's a sad situation, so condolences to her. And then she was sharing with Bambi that her other sister is also not very well. But now, while she's talking in confessionals and she's, you know, sharing this sad news about her family, why is she bringing up Yandy and Mendices chatting about she ain't got time for that? Like, please. It's just giving, what the hell are you talking about, woman? Just stop. Just leave it alone. Because you're talking about, Yandy is, you know, defending her man and basically trying to tarnish her niece's character. I'm like, hold on. Your niece came to you. You decided to bring it onto the show, to bring her on the show. So that was you. You didn't have to bring nothing back. You chose to do that. And I know you might see Yandy as your friend, but Yandy doesn't see you as a friend. She said that she loved Jess to death, but that's not her friend, when she was talking to Spice and Rasheeda. Anyway, moving on. Now, also at Spice's content house launch that she had, there was a mix-up with Spice and Bambi and Amy. Now, Bambi turned up with Zell and was saying to Zell that she wants to talk to Spice, but Spice can get a bit more fiery when it comes to women approaching her. And we know Spice has had anger issues before, and she went to anger management, right? So we know that when her and Renee were doing a little anger management thing. So we know that Spice can definitely fly off. But in this situation, I was like, well, Spice kind of vindicated herself, because Bambi was saying that she's a bit upset with Spice because she felt like Spice encouraged her to do this track and encouraged Amy to do it. And Amy apparently told her that, you know, she had a different verse when she went there, and she's changed it when she got there, thanks to whatever Spice said. So when Bambi talks to Spice about this, Spice calls Amy into the situation to say, yo, like, this is what she said, what was going on here. Amy's like, no, I didn't say that. That's a lie. And the next minute, her and Bambi are getting into it. Now, we saw that Amy said it because they showed the flashback. I'm just like, Amy, you are caught in your lie. So instead of her just saying, you know what, I said that, I'm just trying to, you know, patch things up or whatever. She didn't say that. She just lied and said she didn't say that. Spice is obviously vindicated, because Spice is like, well, I didn't say it to her. And we do see the scene when Amy does go to the studio with Spice, and then she says to Spice that she was in the car writing her lyrics, and Spice is big out chatting about, oh, that's good that you write your own lyrics. She didn't tell her what to write. She's one who went and recorded her stuff first. So obviously, to me, it just sounds like Spice said to Bambi, just so you know, Amy's track is actually dissing you. So if you want to retaliate, you can. Doesn't mean you have to do that. So I felt like Bambi was kind of blaming Spice for that, like saying, well, you told me that she dissed me. Yeah, she did tell you that she dissed you, but so what? You didn't have to go and do this track back. You chose to do that. So I don't feel like you can blame Spice for that. So I do feel like she's blaming her in that situation, which is just disappointing, because it's like, you ladies should be able to get along. But I did think that Bambi made a point about her flying off with some of the females as opposed to the males. Because even when it comes to the whole Jasmine situation, I get that she's riding for Rasheeda, but I don't think Rasheeda would ride for her that much, or would even get to those blows of wanting to fight Jasmine. But I also feel like, you know, a lot of the whole cast have, you know, forgiven Kirk, and Kirk can run around with no problems, but Jasmine's an issue. And I get the fact that she don't want to be besties with Jasmine. I don't think she has to be besties with Jasmine, but I don't feel like she has to pick up her argument as much as she is doing at the moment. That is not her business. But Amy made herself look ridiculous right out at the end of that scene. Like, yeah, you're a bitch, you're a liar. And she just went. I was like, Amy and Rasheeda, both of you were caught in your lies blatantly, and both of you decided to scarp her, run. You know, headed out of there quick time. And one more point I wanted to make was the Jasmine and Kirk, you know, child handoff situation. And I was like, Kirk, you're showing your true colours here. When he mentioned Rod and saying that he's now gotten to Rod so he can control her, I was like, that's the energy that you're really on, isn't it? Like, he wanted to have her controlled to the side, had your little side chick just quietly doing what you wanted to do is what it was given. I didn't like that at all. I felt like, you were showing your true colours there, Kirk. I also do think, like, you know, Jasmine wants on the show and she just wants more money from Kirk, because clearly he has been sending her some money, as he showed to Rod. But yeah, I feel like she's definitely trying to hustle him out of some more. And obviously she's pissed that Rod and Kirk have spoken, because that messes her money and her plans up. Anyway, of course, I went to go check out social media to see what people were saying on there. Here are some posts that had me cracking up. Okay, so you've seen those and you've heard what I have to say. Now, what are you saying about the show? Let me know your thoughts below. Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.